Hello, everyone. This recording is going to be about the Google Memo and the surrounding policies that big corporations tend to implement when they are seemingly left-leaning. I wanted to uh, talk a bit about this just because it's all over the place. You can't really avoid it at this point. Um, Not that it's not important, but it, it it seems obvious to most people, I think, who's in the right here. It's obvious to most normal people that James Damore is correct and Google is wrong. And it almost feels like they know they're wrong, but they can't deviate from their commitment to their diversity goals and that they feel like they've committed to. And you have all these people coming to condemn this guy. And I don't think if Google received a backlash from these people, he obviously wouldn't have been fired. There's no reason for him to be fired if if he just posted his posting and everybody minded their own business. They could have disagreed with him privately, but they didn't. They needed to show that they disagreed with him via Twitter and public outcry. They had to publicize this internal memo, which was originally internal, if I believe. And they wanted to get their brownie points and feel like they were doing something good. And I think that, I think it's pretty obvious that Google wouldn't have done anything had the memo not gotten out, and if no one had really said anything. But now they've they've gotten themselves in a situation where they can't really go back. It just seems like everything that they do, the more that these type of policies reveal themselves, the worse they seem to the general public. The general public seems to despise this stuff, as they should. This stuff is bad, and I think most people know it. I think most people who aren't stuck in ideological echo chambers know that this stuff is bad. And I just don't see. I don't know how Google came to the decision that this would ultimately help them. Because, I mean, I don't think the people at Google are dumb. I don't think that they're just completely blinded by how this makes them look. But what I do think is that well, everybody says to follow the money a lot of time. I think somehow, somewhere, they have to be getting money from this diversity bullshit. They have to. Why do all these companies gravitate towards this crazy diversity stuff? Whereas the general population can see it's bad and it's terrible PR when stuff like this happens, why do they keep on making these decisions? Why do companies like this keep on making these decisions? It's obviously not popular with how is it ultimately going to benefit them? I don't That's the piece that I'm missing when I'm trying to think about this. I don't understand why they keep on making diversity-based decisions when it seems to be extremely detrimental to them. If you want to get like extremely conspiratorial, it could be like, well, they're trying to make people lean right wing. It seems, because all this stuff coming out with diversity and equity is coming out from the far left, it seems, and people are just repulsed by it, and and they really have become this class that holds all the power. It just seems that the companies in charge constantly make these blunders that make more and more people turn away from their ideology because of just the nature of how these policies end up. And when a company like Google seems to value diversity more than free speech, they're it's almost like they're doing it on purpose to try to make people lean right wing, because it's like who could be this stupid? Who could think these retarded thoughts? These things these things that they're doing are so dumb. Everybody can see that they're dumb. They make fun of it constantly. Everyone makes fun of it. And yet they still keep on doing it. They continue to make these terrible, terrible PR decisions. And this is one of Google's major ones, but they do it with all these companies have been doing it. You know, YouTube, Marvel, all these ones that we've seen in the past do make these decisions about elevating diversity above all else. And it seems that that's not the proper highest ideal you should be striving for. I'm just wondering, like, how in the world these people got in power. How did someone with a moral compass so broken, or how did multiple people with moral compasses so broken get into these positions to where they can dictate other people's lives? I think if we're going to avoid this type of thing in the future, we need to figure out why these people got into power in the first place. It's almost as if, well, we know what it is. They pretended to be victims, and they're continuing to be victims from a place of power. Yet everybody buys into it because they group them as part of their group. So this is nothing new, but it's still being bought into for some reason. Anyways, these are just some unfiltered thoughts on it. And of course, we know what the media is going to do with it. Everybody knows what the media is going to do. And that's why nobody trusts the media. And if you do trust the media at this point, you might as well just give yourself a lobotomy. We have to figure out how to be 5 steps ahead of these guys, because we do well for what we do in fighting this, but it's not enough, because they are still holding all the power at this point. And people can say they're going into death spirals and eating themselves, but they still hold all the power. And it's because they have all this money. But what I'm trying to figure out is why they're making these obviously bad decisions to self-destruct. It's like they think they're invincible to it. And I just want to make sure they aren't. Because if they are, we could be in big trouble. And our freedoms could be in big trouble in general.